lovely readers, it's me, Mish, the Dorky Reader, and today's video is my favorite kind of video to make, the monthly TBR Jar prompt video for March. And March happens to be, not only is it my anniversary month, it's also my husband's birthday month. So, in honor of that, the very first book to be put on my TBR was chosen or requested by him. And that is George R.R. Martin's A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Now, I really love George R.R. Martin's writing. I think he is incredibly gifted, and I read all of the available Song of Ice and Fire's books a long time ago, and I just really love them, and I, of course, like everyone else, wish they were finished. But this is apparently in the same world, but it's like completely different timeline, a different story, etc. So I'm curious about it. There's also a TV show available, probably on like HBO, I could be wrong. And before I get around to watching it, I feel like I need to read the book. There is a very famous scene going around that my husband showed me the other day, and it was hilarious. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't know how that'll be written in a book, but there it is. Okay, so let's get started. Today, most of my kids are at school, as they should be. However, I have one sick kid at home with me today, and her name is Emma. So I'm gonna go back and forth, and it's just gonna be me and Emma picking prompts today. I'm gonna go ahead and let her choose the very first one. So I'm gonna press pause first while I get her. All right, I got Emma, and here she is. Poor sicky poo, and she's gonna put her sick cough hand in the jar just for me. Let's see what we picked. It's a book with a vampire. Ooh. All right. Thanks, Emma.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so I found 4 books with vampires to choose from. One being A Tempest of Tea, where I believe she has this sort of tea shop going on in the daytime, and at night it turns into sort of like a vampire speakeasy. And I believe it has some romance tossed in. Then I also have Empire of the Vampire by J. Kristoff, an author I'm really curious to know more about. I've read his work where he worked in pair with, is it Amy Kaufman? It's someone Kaufman, and I feel bad not knowing the name off the top of my head, but I really liked the Illuminae files, and he and her worked together on that. So I'm not sure what parts of the book were more his influence and what was more her influence, but I absolutely adore the Illuminae files, so I have high hopes for this author. Also, this series is pretty well known in the world of vampire fiction for being like one of the best ones, so that is going for it. But however, look how thick this thing is. It's a big chunk, and putting a big chunky book right at the beginning of my TBR jar poll is a little nerve-wracking. So I don't know if I'm gonna dive right in. How many pages is it? Yeah, it's like over 700 pages. Then I have Lightfall, which I don't know as much about, but I do believe there might be one or only one city left of vampires, and there's some sort of hierarchy amongst them, and only the best get the most nutrition or blood or whatever, and the lower servants get the less quality stuff, and somehow there's some kind of political stuff going on with the vampires. I'm not sure, but it was interesting. I was thinking though with this one in particular, it sounded more like a really good October Halloween-y book, so I might not pick this one either. And then the last one I have is from my Allurial box that I got a couple months ago, I believe. We Who Will Die by Stasia Stark, or Stasia Stark. I'm not sure how to pronounce her first name. It's a very beautiful edition of the book. I believe this one has very Roman vibes, and there's some sort of competition, and I know that the girl is kind of on a mission, or maybe she made a bargain with someone to eventually kill like this leader of the vampires, this ancient vampire somehow, and she has to kind of find her way to do that. Of these 4 books, I'm going to rule out Lightfall. I think, again, I really think this one sounds more Halloween-y. And Empire of the Vampire, even though I think this one might be the best of the 4. It's just too much, I think, too soon on my TBR for this month. So I'm going to choose between A Tempest of Tea, which sounds like it could be a really interesting light read, or We Who Will Die by Stasia Stark. Neither of them are too big. You know, I think I'm gonna go with We Who Will Die. I'm not sure if I'm gonna like it or not. It could go either way, but I don't know. I'm reading something right now that kind of has like trials, and I'm really in the mood for that, I feel like, surprisingly, which sometimes that trope feels too tropey, but you know what? I'm just gonna go with my gut and go with We Who Will Die by Stasia Stark. So that's my first draw. My second book, though, because I'm still reading the Knights of the Seven Kingdom or whatever. Okay, I'm going to choose the next prompt myself and then call Emma in for the next one. Ooh, put it back in there. So if it's one with Odin or Heidi, obviously I'll have to put it back in the jar, so we'll see. This one says, a book with a light source on the cover. Lamp, candle, fire, that sort of thing. And you know what? I absolutely know what I'm going to pick for this prompt. Oh, gosh, it won't show, will it? Oh, there you go. Awesome. Okay. And it's right next to me because I was hoping to pick it this month. What a coinky dink. And it's The Butcher's Masquerade by Matt Dinneman. This is book 5 in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. I've gone several months now without choosing a Dungeon Crawler Carl book, and I feel like I'm falling behind. Everyone else I know is caught up and they've read the whole series but me. So I've got to catch up. And even though this one is a chunk, it's probably why I didn't want Empire of the Vampire and this in the same month. Like, that would be too much, I think, for me. But I'm really excited about it. I can't wait to see what our Princess Donut is going to get up to. And hopefully we see some more of my favorite character, the goat guy. I love him. And all that jazz. Anyway, yes. Okay, here's Emma. She's going to pull our next prompt. All right, it's got green inside and it says, a book with aliens. Whoa. First vampires and now aliens? Actually, that's awesome. So thank you, Emma. All right, I'm back and I have with me 5 different books that could potentially have aliens in them. One pretty obviously has aliens in them, and that is The Search for Wandla. And this is I believe a middle grade option where a girl who was in this underground shelter raised by a robot named Mother is then forced to come up to the surface, and while she's there she wants to search for other humans because she has with her this silly little piece of cardboard that has some drawings on it of her, the robot, and another tall human. So she's curious about this and goes off on an adventure of some sorts to find people like her. So that definitely has some aliens in it. Another one that could potentially have aliens, I'm not sure, is Dead Silence, a salvage crew, unspeakable horrors. Oh, that's just the cat. It's Dead Silence is the name of the book by S.A. Barnes. And this one is kind of like a ghost ship in space, and, you know, people find it, I'm guessing, and try to figure out what happened to the crew. And that sounds to me like there could potentially be some sort of alien, either virus, bacteria, or maybe even a creature or something involved. So that sounds exciting. This is technically considered a space horror, so that'll be a different genre for me, which is exciting too. Then I have Aurora Rising. Again, it is Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, and they're paired together. Ugh, knowing that they're together and that they wrote the same book, just like they did Illuminae Files, really makes me gravitate towards this. I think, check online for this one. Like, it was the first book I grabbed. It's like, are there aliens in Aurora Rising? And it did say yes. So that is a potential candidate for sure. Then I have this big old beast, Leviathan Wakes by James A. Corey, or S.A. Corey, and this is what the show The Expanse is based off of, and I have been really wanting to get into this. However, if I'm already reading this, adding this next to it, and George R.R. Martin, oh my god, like, I don't know guys if I can do that. And then again, another really big tome is The Children of Time by Adrian Tchaikovsky. Apparently this is a favorite of a lot of sci-fi readers, and I'm excited to dive into it because I love sci-fi as a genre in a whole, in movie and book. It's fantastic. So But based on this stack, I'm gonna put those two really good sounding books that are really heavy to the side. And I think I'm gonna go with Aurora Rising because that's what my gut tells me to do. I wanna go through, it'll be easy and fast, hopefully. And if it has any type of that Illuminae file, fast action-packed kind of momentum that these two authors shared in that series and this, then it'll be a blast. It'll be really fun to read. So I'm looking forward to it. Okay, now it's my turn and I'm going to pick a prompt from the prompt jar. And I don't have to pause the camera. It's wild. I'm gonna go yellow. I like the color yellow as an accent to things. Oh, I can't. This one is a Heidi one. So I'm gonna put it back in, and next month the chances will be even higher that she gets it. Okay, I didn't go yellow this time. I went a book with blue lettering. Okay, we'll work real hard to find that, and I'll be right back. All right, I have several options with me. One I feel like is kind of cheating, but it should count because part of the title is in blue and part of it is in white. And that is We Are Legion, We Are Bob. I did not get around to reading this in February, and I don't think I'll be able to pick it up in the next couple days because I have another plan from where I'm at. And so I'm kind of bummed that I didn't get to read it, and so it's really high on my want to read list. So as you can see, the We Are Legion part is white and the We Are Bob is blue. So that counts. Another option I have, another sci-fi, which I also really want to read, is In Our Stars, The Doomed Earth by Jack Campbell. This book is supposedly very fast-paced, action-packed, and kind of like that high-stakes, save the world kind of thing, and I love that. And so that's really exciting to me. Then I have a book called East. It has a light blue cover, and I believe this is based on some kind of fairy tale or folk tale or something. And it's like a retelling of it. I'm not sure. I could be wrong. And there's one book called East and another book called West, and it's a duology. I don't know much about it, but I'm imagining it has some sort of Nordic roots or something. But yes, it seems good. My copy, I spilled coffee on the edges a long time ago, and so it's got this staining here, and I'm worried about it. I hope it doesn't mold. Then I also have Tiger's Curse. Now this could be a YA or a middle grade, and I don't know. I think it's a YA. I picked this up at the used bookstore for probably like $1 or $2, and I grabbed it because it has some sort of tiger shapeshifter type thing going on, and I know my daughter would be really into that, but I want to read it first, make sure that it's something she'd be interested in. She might not like it, maybe she will. So that is also an option. Then I have this book here, The Splendid City by Karen Hewler. And this book looks hilarious. Basically, there's this witch. She's living with this crazy... does he start off as a cat, or has she turned him into a cat? I'm not sure. I think she turns somebody into a cat and then they're forced to live together or something. And he's kind of like this rascal. Like, he causes trouble. He's not a well-behaved cat or person. And anyway, I'm not exactly sure of the whole story, but I like that imagery here of this cat with like a gun in his hand. Like, he looks like a little shit. Here we go. Okay, here is the other one, and this one's kind of, it's bluish, but it's also more like aqua, and that is Before the Coffee Gets Cold. And this is one of those very popular Japanese books coming out that's been translated. Very much like Water Moon and some other ones where you leave your regrets behind, or if you go back and change one thing, and all these kind of hypotheticals, that kind of situation, I believe. This one is supposedly a real tearjerker. It's very short and compact, and it would be very wise of me to put something like this on my TBR, because I feel like I would be able to read it. But there's also We Are Legion, We Are Bob, and I really want to read that too. The other ones sound great too in their own way, but I think that I'm leaning between one of these two. And you know, I'm gonna do the right thing because I already have The Butcher's Masquerade and Aurora Rising. That's two sci-fis. I'm gonna put Before the Coffee Gets Cold in there. I know it's aqua, but that's kind of, to me, it's like a subset of blue, so I'm gonna count it. There weren't a whole lot of blue letterings. I was surprised. Okay, now I'm gonna call Emma and she'll pull the next prompt. Here's Emma and she's ready to pull.
I gotta get one from the bottom.
From the bottom? Okay. I'll lean. Oh, we got one. You got one. Can you read it?
I can try.
Okay.
Strats with
What does it say? Starts with the letter B for Bruce. Oh, that's perfect because it's Papa's birthday month, March is. So that'll be perfect.
Starts with the...
Okay, I have several options with me for the letter B. One, and the most obvious and most ambitious option, would be best served cold. Pairing this with the Butcher's Masquerade and George R.R. Martin's A Night of the Seven Kingdoms is a little ambitious. However, it is a book that I have on my this is the #1 book I want to make sure I read next year. So that being said, but oh my gosh, why is the font so small? Oh gosh, it's a really chunky book. But it's going to be really good because his writing is so amazing. So I could put it on there and hope for the best. Or I could go with one of these lighter reads. There are other books too that aren't light reads, but I feel like even though I do really want to read Blood Over Bright Haven, I want to save this author until after I've read Sword of Kaigen, which I don't own yet. And I think I would definitely pick this over that in this moment because both seem kind of similarly heavy. But I have some lighter options here that sound interesting to me. One being Bound to Fall by A.K. Caggiano, and I think it looks absolutely adorable. And she's like this kind of dark witch, or she comes from this dark sorceress family of some sort, and she's trying to leave all that behind, but she accidentally does something that causes some trouble, and this knight, or I don't know if he's a paladin, whatever he is, of the Holy Order, he comes and he's trying to like arrest her or whatever, and somehow they end up falling in love. And it just looks really cutesy and romantic, and maybe that's what I need this month to pair with these other books. Another option, which looks like fun, I have no idea, is The Blonde Identity. Another type of writing synopsis I'm into is spy stuff. I like comedy spy things. I think it's anything with action and rescues and wild gunfights and things in a book is exciting to me, so I am down for something fun. And this is very small, which is very nice and has potential to be a really fun read. I know there's more than one book in this series, so I don't know if I want to start a whole new one, but I might. Also, if it's one I don't like, then I can DNF it and take it off my bookshelves, and that's also good. So there's that. And then I have The Book Jumper by, gosh, what's her name? Mechthild Glaser. I don't know. Mechthild Glaser? I could be wrong. It's a very interesting name up here. I'm sorry if I butchered it. But anyway, I believe in this story, it's a girl who, let's see here. She left Germany for Scotland and is headed for her mother's childhood home. And la-di-da-di-da-di, she ends up being able to leap into books and into different stories and interact with the worlds inside, which sounds really fun. Like, which one of us readers doesn't want to do that? So it's kind of like living every book person's wildest dream, you know, like being able to jump in and be part of that book, and that just sounds wonderful. This is, I believe, a YA, so it should be a fast read as well. So, to be honest, I don't think I can put this on there. I know I won't read it, and then I will be feeling guilty somehow over a book, which sounds ridiculous, but I will, because I'm gonna read Butcher's Masquerade. I say that now, and that'll be the one I don't read. But anyway, I think I'm going to go with a lighter book. I'm going to go with Bound to Fall or The Blonde Identity this month, because I think that's, both of these are definitely doable, and they could be a lot of fun. So who do I go with? Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do Bound to Fall by A.K. Caggiano. I think the cover is what's calling me in because it's just so darn cute. And I've had it as an option to put on before, and I've also kind of debated with it in other videos. Like, it comes up a lot, and I'd like to be able to just read it and get out of the way so I don't have to see me on here on YouTube wondering if I need to read it again, because that seems to happen a lot. Okay, and so now it's my turn to pull a prompt. We read about 6 books so far, or I haven't read them, but I have 6 books on my TBR, and so now for the last 3, it'll be me, Emma, and then me again, and I'm gonna pull a tab, and it says, a green book. Excellent, excellent. I like color prompts, they're fun, so hopefully you can see that. Okay, I think I have the book I want nearby, but let me just grab it. As soon as it said green, like, my head immediately went to this book, and so this will be the one I choose for this TBR, and it is 9 Goblins by T. Kingfisher. I'm a big T. Kingfisher fan. I like how she writes books, a lot of her romance ones especially, for people of an older generation like me. I'm 42, so it feels a little more natural to read books about characters who are closer to my age. Though I still read a good YA, I don't care. Like, I'm not that judgy. But she also has a really great sense of humor, and I am here for it. And this is a very, very short little novella called 9 Goblins, and it looks like it says here, a tale of low fantasy and high mischief. And that's perfect. It fits, like, actually, this is like my husband. So, right there. He's probably this guy with the club. They're so cute. All right, and my kids are in the background. All right, next prompt, I'm gonna get Emma. Here is Emma, and she's going to choose a prompt. And it says, spin for a shelf, then spin for 3 books from that shelf and choose a favorite. Now this might work, it might not work because my spinner isn't up to date, but we will try our best to make it work. There we go. Okay, well, let me stop that because it wasn't filming. How annoying. I don't know why it stopped filming. I think my battery must be getting low, so I better hurry. Here we have the next one. And hopefully it was spinning for the first one. Inkheart. Ooh, I've read that a long time ago. It would be a reread, but I wanted to get back in the series. Oh, sorry, Hal. So that's that. Okay, don't worry, his sound, he makes those sounds when you pick him up no matter what. Like, he's very dramatic, but he's actually very fine. And the third option is The Forbidden Library. I'll go get those books. All right, so all 3 of these are used books that I got at my local used bookstore. I highly recommend you check out your local used bookstores. You'll find some really great deals there. This one is Inkheart by Cornelia Funk, and I believe in this world some villains or characters come out of books and into the real world, and a huge adventure ensues, and yada yada yada. I know that it's a little bit chunkier than the other 2, so that is a downer. But it was really good, and I wanted to finish the series, so there's that. The next one I have is Artemis Fowl by Eowyn Colfer. This book has been made into a movie that I watched with my kids a long time ago, and I remember we enjoyed it. So I kind of know a little bit about it. However, I don't know much about the actual book itself. Usually those are a little bit different, and I am curious, and it's very small, so that is helpful. And then I have The Forbidden Library by Django Wexler, which I think sounds really exciting. I believe this girl, she ends up not listening to an adult of some sort and going into this forbidden part of the library, and she ends up in a book, and the only way out of the book is to defeat the villain within. At least I think that's kind of the gist of it. There's a talking cat, and that's always exciting. So I know this one's the thickest of them, but this one was really good, and I feel like I'm drawn to reading this again. I don't know if that's going to be the case though, because gosh, that stack looks kind of scary. Then I have Artemis Fowl. I feel like this might be a little below my reading level, maybe. No, you know what? I could pull it off. Why not? Oof, no. Okay. I think my heart is in either one of these. Either the book characters come to us or we go to them. And I'm not sure exactly which one I'm interested in right now. I'm looking at the pages here. This one will take me a whole lot longer to finish than this one, that's for sure. The Forbidden Library by Django Wexler. You know though, even though this will take longer, I've been dying to get back into this and reading the rest of the series because I only ever read book 1 and that was such a shame because the story was really good. And I know they made a movie and then they didn't continue, so I can't even just like finish the story that way, which I wouldn't want to do anyway. So I'm gonna choose Inkheart as my, what is this, 8th book. And then I'm going to pull for my 9th one. Okay, so I have 2 books I haven't gotten yet that I really, really want to read. And I'm hoping that they somehow fit the prompt that I pull next. If one of these 2 books doesn't fit the prompt, I'll end up adding one of them at the end anyway, giving me a 10-book lineup to pick from, because I know in my heart of hearts that if I don't get one of these, I'll be really sad. They're like the 2 that I wanted the most. And nothing fits so far, which is really irritating. All right, here we go. Let's see what my prompt is, and hopefully one fits, because that would be nice. Okay, it says here, a book with a 4.5 or higher score on Goodreads. That's gonna be hard to do for these 2, but maybe I'm gonna check it out real quick here. Pull up my Goodreads and look up The Apothecary, Diaries, 3. Oh, I spelled Apothecary Diaries Light Novel 3. It's yes, it works. It works. 4.52 for this one. That's excellent. Yes. Now I know I can continue it. That makes me so, so, so happy. And what I might end up doing anyway, because I don't have a single book of the month on that stack, is adding Rings of Fate as my option for book of the month, because I need to get through some of my book of months to justify my subscription to them. This book in particular sounds really funny. It kind of gives me Tangled vibes, like funny, humorous adventure romance. A girl who works as a barmaid or something in a tavern, and she has no interest in anything wild, but this prince comes in and just kind of takes her on this adventure that she's not really looking for. I believe that's kind of where this goes, right? Yeah, Erin Bellamore has no interest in being anyone's princess. She's too busy running the Ravensbeak Tavern, fending off unwanted marriage proposals, and dreaming of escape. But when a brush with death and a dangerously handsome stranger append her life, Erin finds herself bound to a bargain that could change everything. And Prince Deaton has carried the cursed Rings of Fate, ancient weapons of devastating power since childhood, and the magic is killing him, and the enemies are closing in. To make the journey reverse this curse, he needs a bride to hide his secrets. Erin wants freedom. Pretending to be his fiancée should give them both what they want. So this will be kind of like a fun romance with a perilous journey, political schemes, monstrous calandrar, and a growing attraction neither can deny. So that'll be my little romantasy slip into the month, and that'll be that. Let me show you this deck. It is gigantic, and I feel like a fool for adding so many books because I know I'm not going to read them all, even though I want to. Like, my heart wants to read every one of these books. But we'll get around to some of them because I've been on a good reading kick. I think by the end of this month, by the time I do my book review video, I'll have read 5. And that's a good number from my 9 of last month. And that being said, hopefully I can read at least 5 of these. Oh, check this out. Well, it'll fit in the frame, so that's cool. There's my stack. So exciting. I wish I could take like a picture, just like a photo. Oh, they're falling. Whoa! There, I'm in the frame. Maybe I can get a picture. I always wanted to learn how YouTuber, booktuber people do that, where they make like a a picture for the front of their video that looks really cool, and they're usually like outlined and there's word bubbles everywhere. I'm just not that tech savvy. I really am not. But anyway, let's go through this list real quick. A book of the month choice for me, because I threw that in at the end, is Rings of the Fate, of Fate by Melissa de la Cruz. A book with a 4.5 Goodreads rating or higher, The Apothecary Diaries, light novel, volume 3. Look how cute. I love how cute they are. Oh my god. Then I have, what was it? The book spinning choice, where I chose a shelf from my vast collection and spun 3 options and then chose my favorite of those 3. And that was Inkheart by Cornelia Funk. I think it's a good way to get me to read a book that I normally wouldn't choose. Then I have a green book, or a book with a green cover, 9 Goblins by T. Kingfisher. A book with the letter B, like Bruce, Bound to Fall by A.K. Caggiano. This will be very romantic and sweet, and I can't wait to read it. A book with blue lettering, Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikatsu Kawaguchi. And it looks really cute with the kitty on the front. Then I have a book with aliens in it, and that is Aurora Rising by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. What a team, a dream team. A book with a light source on the cover, and I chose the Spotlight on Princess Donut, The Butcher's Masquerade by Matt Denneman, book 5 in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. Emma had chosen early on a book with a vampire in the book, and that is We Who Will Die by Stasia Stark. Again, I really wish I knew how to say her name, and I feel bad, so. And then the book that my husband requested, alongside with another friend of mine as well, George R.R. Martin's A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Wish me luck. I know his writing can be very heavy. However, this one looks more doable than some of his other works. It's still, you know, lots of words, which is good. I'm more worried about the name dropping, but we'll see. Anyway, that is my March TBR. It is a really big, intimidating, wonderful, beautiful stack, and I'm sure there's going to be at least 1 or 2 books in there that I love. So I hope you guys all find books you love this month. Tell me what you're reading, what you plan on reading, a recent favorite, anything like that on the bottom, and hit that subscribe button and like my video. Bruce always tells me not to say that kind of stuff, so I try not to. He's like, don't do that, so cheesy, people hate that. I'm like, that's what we do, that's what booktubers do, because otherwise people might forget to do it. I don't know. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day, etc., etc. I probably said that like 3 times, and talk to you later. Oh, I need to find my button to turn it off.